Oh my goodness. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know who told me this was a good idea. Nobody told me this is a good idea. You want to know how this video came about? It came about because I went on a YouTube binge of all of my favorite artists, which is great. And I came across so many using only this color videos that I was like, hey, I could totally do that. Let's do it. So here we are at this video. And let me tell you, now that I'm sitting doing this voiceover almost a week after doing this, it was one of the hardest things I've ever restricted myself with. You would think, oh, but you have all of these green art supplies. Yeah, but not all of them like to go together cohesively, and as you can see throughout the video, there are so many colors that look exactly the same. Different brands, different medium, but look exactly the same. Oh, it was stressful, let me tell you. So what you see me doing right here, right now, is that I am literally going through all of my green art supplies, swatching them out. And yeah, one of the greatest pros is having all of these art supplies is that I do have many different shades of green. Some are more like greenish blue, some are yellowish green, and some of them kind of look like something that belongs in the toilet, but it comes in kind of handy later. But anyway, so yeah, swatching all of these out, it's the process that I usually cut out of all my speed paint runs in some of my videos because it's so mind-numbing. Can I just tell you, I can't even. I don't like this process, but I do it because we're an adult. And when we're adults, we have to do things that we don't want to do, like pay bills and go to work and swatch out all of your green colors because you need to know what they look like before you start anything. What is life? So as per usual, I am gonna leave the very long list of art supplies that I actually used in this video, but just to kind of briefly go over some of the things I used, a great majority of them being watercolor pencils and pencils. If you could see throughout this video just how many pencils I have that are green. I also used gouache. I used, oh, what else did I use? Oh yes, the Tombow markers. Those were golden. Those saved my butt so many times this video because, you know, watercolors are kind of not as opaque, and the Tombow markers are pretty water soluble, and they've got some pretty great variety of colors that I have, as you can see. So, oh, anything else? I had a couple of alcohol-based markers to just kind of throw it in there and throw me for a loop. So this is going to be interesting. So what you see me doing right now is that I started this drawing using one of my watercolor pencils. And the reason that I am using one of the watercolor pencils is that even though they're not so easy to erase, because let's face it, not a lot of color pencils are, it's water soluble, which means when I start painting later, all of these little sketchy lines that I necessarily don't want to show by the end will disappear. Or if I make a boo-boo, I can cover it up because, once again, water soluble, I can mix it and hide it and all of that great stuff. So I am doing it in a light color, and for marking where my shadows are, like I am doing right now, I go in with a darker color watercolor pencil. That's the key, watercolor pencil. Otherwise, it's gonna mess everything up. And I'm sketching where I want the lights and the darks to be, where I want maybe some of my lines to show through to be. And I'm just going through. And one of the biggest things when you have watercolor pencils that you have to do in order to get good color and to try to get rid of some of that graininess is layers. You need to layer those watercolor pencils, and you need to make sure that there is a good amount of pigment down where you want those darker or richer areas to make sure that it looks pretty by the end of it. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm like defining all of the lines, putting down base colors, and just trying to sometimes fix some of my muck-ups because, oh my goodness, this angle doesn't really show it, but when I lifted it up, you know how you put something on an easel. I do that all the time. I put my work on an easel so it's facing me completely, and I can see where all of my perspective issues are wrong. In this one, the dragon was so elongated and just a little weird looking in this sketch, so further down the road I do fix it a little bit. Yeah. So you all may be wondering, why the color green? Well, hello. Did you see the title? The title said, my favorite color. Not exactly my favorite color because, you know, I haven't actually put the video up yet, but I know that it's going to include the fact that I chose this based off of my color. I'm sorry, the sarcasm is high. I love you all. Anyway, green is my favorite color. It wasn't always my favorite color. In fact, my favorite color from when I was really, really little is actually a color I really, really hate now. Can you imagine why I hate it now? Take a guess. Yeah, I used that color so much in my childhood that I think I killed it for me. I think I killed liking that color so much, and I overused it, and now I hate it. Green became my favorite color, I think, when I was heading into middle school. So it's been my go-to color for a while, and no, I don't abuse it as I previously abused my childhood favorite color, which I'll do in another video, and I won't tell you what it is. I'll let you wonder. Anyway, so yeah, I chose green to start with because I had a inspiration strike me in the middle of the night, because that's when all of the great ideas happen, is in the middle of the night when you're supposed to be going to sleep. That's just how it works. So in this piece, I took two characters from Basileus. Yes, you heard me right. I'm actually doing something from Basileus. Praise be! Anyway, so the girl, Allison, is one of the main characters, and originally I was going to have this dragon be Denark. He is one of the male dragons. He's green, obviously, and green in that story means that he's a very fast dragon. He's speedy, he's sly, he's quick. But as you can see in this picture, this dragon is spewing what looks like flames. It's kind of like actually hymnal fire kind of thing. God, I don't know what it's called right now. I'll look back and see what it's called right now in a second. Not right now, actually, because the book is like in another room in which I am doing this recording. But anyway, the reason that's such a big deal, this hymnal fire, which is why it's not burning her, because it's a healing kind of fire. It's a big deal because only the female dragons can do it. And a Denark is a boy. Yeah. So in this case, it's just a dragon. It's just a dragon. One of the many green dragons. Denark is not the only one. Otherwise, you're all gonna sit here and wondering why she's not burning into flames as he's shooting, or she's shooting, or something's shooting this fiery looking substance into the ground. Story of my life. So, yeah. So, something that you see me doing right now is just going over all of my layers of the watercolor pencil with the water, obviously. But the important thing is, when you do with watercolor pencils, I'm not trying to tell you how to do art. No, by all means, let me put this out there right now. You do art however you want to do art. The fact that people would think somebody to sit here and be like, you can't do it this way. No, I'm sorry. This is just how I do it. How I use watercolor pencils is I go from my lightest value to my darkest value. That's what you typically do in art. Not everybody does it that way, and not every medium lets you do it that way. But it's important for me that I make sure that I do this, because if I don't and I go from the darkest to the lightest value, my lightest value gets all sorts of muddy and I lose that shine and I lose that vibrance, and that's not good, especially considering I can't use my Uniball white pen. Can you tell I am having issues? All sorts of issues that I can't use this pen. I mean, I could. I know other YouTubers have done it, but I'm trying really hard not to. So what I'm doing right now is I have the watercolors, my tube watercolors, and the one green that I have in my Prima Confections watercolor pan. I'm just going over the base layers that I already have down, just trying to richen up some of the greens and eventually bring some shadows to it. Once again, with watercolors, it's just having that patience to sit there and layer. That's like the biggest problem I notice some people have, is that they're not willing to sit there and layer, and they don't get quite that depth to their drawing. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect either, because there are days, man, that I don't have the patience to sit here and layer. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect with watercolors either, but I really, really love using watercolors. They are my favorite medium, if I haven't already stressed that enough. So that's just what I am doing currently. Now, unlike my last video, if you notice, my sketchbook choice is not really a sketchbook, it's my mixed media paper book. It's the Canson mixed media paper. I'm not using the cotton paper this time because I don't know. I know the other one is also mixed media too, but I don't know if that's quite the texture paper that I want to use this one. The last one I used in the video was the Strathmore one, and I don't know, the texture of that paper is not what I was looking for when doing this piece. So that's kind of like my little ramble on why I chose this paper. Getting back to the video, I'm just using some of my alcohol-based markers. They're my Artist Loft markers. I don't use these markers a lot. I mean, once in a while I like to play with them. They are pretty good. I know they're probably not Copic level, but I'm a poor person, I can't afford that stuff. God, you know, I have such a weird, awkward laugh that I put at the end of randomly when I talk, and I really apologize for that. I must sound really annoying sometimes, but I can't help it. It's kind of like a nervous tick-ish kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm just using 2 of the colors for the grass area. I really didn't want to put too much detail into the grass because, I mean, this piece already has a lot going on in it to begin with. I didn't want to really be distracting with too many details. Right now I'm doing my little lightning bugs, fire bugs. I don't really know what they are. They're just little bugs. They're cute. It's adorable. I'm doing it with a Sharpie pen. I don't typically use Sharpie pens because they bleed. I know there are some that don't bleed, but I have issues, man. I have issues. I would prefer to use a more artist level a higher artist level supply. Still be an awkward turtle. I'm sorry, but I know plenty of YouTube artists that use Sharpies in amazing ways, and I'm just not one of them. So getting back to what you see me doing right now, I am now going in with the Tombow markers and just putting out lines around her legs, around the body. I'm gonna like put the colors in certain places where I need that color to just pop. I just need it to come out a little bit more than it's doing right now because I don't have black to work with. I don't have white to work with, so I really have to try to make that contrast using these markers. And as I said, because these markers have a fine tip and a brush tip, they are pretty golden in my book right now. They also blend well with my watercolors for the most part, and I don't really have much more to say about it than that. I mean, they pretty much saved me this piece, I think. Yeah, they pretty much saved me. I know I could have used the gouache because I got at least 4 different greens of gouache that could have also helped me with the same effect, but I don't know. Gouache is a little heavier than what I would have wanted to mix with the watercolors. So, life choices, and those are my life choices. Yeah, I'm trying out some new angles this video. I just want to kind of see, like, what works, what doesn't work, what you like, what you don't like. And somehow the camera just keeps moving, and now I've got my TV remote in the frame shot. I'm a little in the frame shot. That was not intentional. Y'all don't need to know what I look like, even though there's a picture of me in the profile. Because that makes sense, Miss Fable. That makes sense. Anyway, so still just going over everything with the Tombow markers. I really like my Tombow markers. I tried to do everything in supply order of what I needed it for, so I wasn't mixing it too up. And look, there's my Diggle. There's my little Diggle. Diggle is my black cat, who is about to be very mischievous right now, so I tapped his nose with the pen, and now I'm petting his head to be like, thank you for backing off. He and my other cat, Cara, don't get along very well. So right now I'm just using the pen to outline. I have 2 pens, one's a dark green, one's a light green, and I'm just outlining the outsides of various parts, like the dragon and eventually the girl. Not too much the tree because it's kind of in the background, and I want it to be a little bit more fuzzy than, say, the 2 main characters. So yeah, this is interesting. I'm kind of doing this voiceover as I'm watching the video, so I can try to time this up in case you ever wonder how I do this. And look, there's Cara. I promise you she's fine. I went through this video, and because I speed up certain segments to watch her breathe, which is normal, slow and happy is like completely sped up, and she looks like she's about to huck. I promise you she wasn't about to huck. I mean, look at that face. Look at that cute little face. She's mommy's baby, even though she's the older cat and not the one I had first. They're both my babies. Let me be very clear about that right now. I love them both very much. They both can get under my nerves in the same way because they both like to mess around with one another. They don't like each other very much. Anyway, so I'm just outlining all the scales right now. And right now I'm getting so distracted by the fact that her breathing just looks so funny in this video. I promise you she was absolutely fine. So yeah, more about these pens. Do I really have to explain? They're just secret pens. You can get them in those big massive packs at Target or Walmart. Not sponsored, not sponsored. Anyway, they're not that hard to find, and I use them sometimes for sketching because sketching in pen just kind of helps. You can't erase your mistakes, so you have to be a little more careful. So I'm just using that as kind of like my fine liner. I used the dark one for the dark segments and some of the scales, and now I'm going in with the Artist Loft alcohol marker to just color in the highlight bugs. Oh my goodness, am I hiccuping? Please stop hiccuping. And the remote. I just realized that the remote is in the shot again. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and movies and stuff while I draw. I don't actually pay attention to it too much. In fact, there I was probably pressing pause, maybe. I don't know. But now I'm thinking. And yeah, that's pretty much my art process. I'll listen to music, or I'll put something on the TV, or I'll sit there and think and twirl the pen in my hand, and y'all wonder what I'm sitting there doing. And my lunch has made an appearance. Yeah, I told you this was over a course of a good few days. Oh, we just moved on to a whole new medium too. I'm paying attention. So this is my Arteza. I have heard artists pronounce this name so many different ways that I actually don't know how to say it. I want to say it's Arteza, but anyway, it's their gouache. I have 4 different greens of those, and I'm using that for the background because that is more opaque than my watercolors are, so it kind of gives it more of that solid texture, and doesn't, hopefully, if I did this right, it really doesn't draw as much attention to, say, when watercolors, you sometimes get gradients, you get little shapes in there, and you can't help but go, ooh. Sorry for that brief black pause out there. I don't know what that is. Like in my video, I really don't know what it is. I'm still very new to editing software, so there are some quirks that I have tried to kink out, and I've managed to kink it out. I'm pretty savvy in being able to problem solve, but there are some things I can't figure it out. So anyway, getting back to me using the gouache, same thing as the watercolors. I go from light to dark, and that's so I don't muddy it up too much. Because as you can see now, I'm going back and just trying to smooth everything out, and in doing that, I am kind of muddying it up a little bit, but in the way that I kind of intended to muddy it up, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I'm just going over all of that now, and just, oh hey, I just realized I ate one of my bruschetta pieces. I just noticed that we went from 2 bruschetta to 1 bruschetta. Anyway, sorry. I'm not only an awkward turtle, but I have ooh shiny moments up the wazoo over things that aren't even shiny. So I'm just detailing, and my kitties have left me too. They come and go. They come and go. I guarantee you Diggle is actually probably behind me on the couch sleeping, or just sitting there like you saw in the other videos. Other videos. I don't even think he's been in any of my other videos. What am I saying? I got distracted. Anyway, he usually sits behind me like he does in my other videos. You never see that, but he is always near me. He doesn't leave me. He is a mama dada boy, because it's both of us. It's both me and my husband that he seems to love being around. But forget it, if other people come into the room, whoosh, he's gone. He's gone. Anyway, so now we are moving on to my colored pencil. I have quite the extensive Prismacolor pencil collection, because I love colored pencils. They were one of my first mediums. I think I like watercolor a little bit more now because you don't have the graininess that colored pencils have, but in this case it helped a lot with shading and adding more vibrant colors in parts where it was kind of washed out and white, and I didn't want it to keep it that way. So I just kind of went in places and just started coloring where I felt it needed more of a pop. Or maybe just some of that texture, because sometimes those colored pencil textures come in handy. Like, you don't want everything to be like smooth and lovely. You want it to be more speckly and imperfect, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did for this video. I don't really have much more to say in regards to it. As you can see, the kitties have left me and I didn't come back. And this is pretty much the last bit of art supplies that I had. It just consisted of color pencils, watercolors, artistic gouache, and just a series of markers. Some water soluble, some alcohol based. Those alcohol based ones just kind of like threw me for a loop, let me tell you. I just really didn't know what to do with them. I pretty much used it for the grass and the lightning bugs, and that's pretty much it. So, oh, I'm starting to like lean into the camera. That's great. You don't need to see me. The fact that I did not move this over as far as I was hoping I moved this over vexes me. Not that I'm camera shy. You just don't need to see my mug of a face. That's not what you're here to see. You're here to see my art. And you can just see me slowly getting closer into frame. I'm pretty sure I cut out all the parts in which I actually get into frame, because once again, you don't need to see that. Oh, yes. And then there's this. There's me literally turning the whole the book upside down. I actually did this 2 other times in this project, at least, that I can remember off the top of my head. And this is just to see proportion wise, but it's also because, as you can see, it's hard for me to get into that corner the way that I would like to get into that corner, to color and to shade and to all of that stuff. So here we are with the final product. I am calling it quits. This is it. The final version of this piece. Let me know what you think of just the video as a whole, or how you think I did this challenge. I think it came out pretty good. I mean, it's not one of my most perfect pieces, but to say that I don't like it would be a lie. I do kind of like it. It has grown on me. It's gonna be a hot minute before I do another one of these challenges again, so let me tell you. So, thank you for watching the video, and I hope I was able to be helpful in some aspect if you're thinking of doing this challenge. I would, just because it does really challenge you. That's why it's called an art challenge. It's not meant to be easy. That should have clicked in my brain when I decided to do this. So, yeah. Learn from me. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please go to my channel to subscribe. And if you didn't, it's okay. I hope you have a lovely day. But for those viewers that are looking for the end of the video question, it's a rather simple one. What is your favorite color? And if you want to be really bold, what do you think my least favorite color is? See you next time!